Hi, I'm Cynthia Murphy.
And I'm Georgia Bowers. And today we're joined by the lovely Josh Winning. Sorry, I got a bit overexcited then. It's all too much, the excitement.
Radio Times.
I know, and everything. So
Hello.
Josh, yes, hello, by the way.
Hi.
Yes, do say hello, Josh. Sorry.
Hello.
Hello. He's really here with us. So Josh is going to talk to us today, but about something he's come across on the internet. But first, he's going to tell us 3 facts about himself. One of it which is not true. And we will reveal which one is not true at the end, but we're going to start with me and Cynthia trying to guess. So Josh, share your 3 facts with us.
Okay, I feel like I should probably read them all out with like a real monotone so that I don't give anything away.
Yes. No, you have to do them all in a different Muppet voice.
Do Miss Piggy and then I'll do Kermit.
And then animal at the end. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Completely incomprehensible.
Did we not prep you for this bit? Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Okay, so my 3 facts are: I had a flying stick insect as a child. I really hate peanut butter. And I once interviewed Sir Christopher Lee.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I don't know if flying stick insects are real. So that could be a lie. Peanut butter, I could believe that because I think it's like Marmite, isn't it? It's a bit of a love-hate.
Yeah, but I don't know whether he was concealing an absolute love for it when he said the sentence that he loves it so much it came out in the way he said it.
Like he had to force it out.
I really want you to have met Christopher Lee.
Yeah, that would be cool.
He's not alive, is he now? Oh, he's not giving anything away, is he? Look, it's just shaking his head.
Fortress.
Yeah.
Fortress of solitude. No information going in or out.
I think it was the way you said, I hate peanut butter. That you just actually love it, and I think that one might be false.
I think it's the first one. I think maybe you had a normal stick insect and you've tried to make it more interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we could easily find out if flying stick insects is a thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
No, that would be cheating, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so everyone.
Google doesn't exist.
Yeah, everyone can have a think.
Okay, so I think 1, you think 2.
I love peanut butter.
Does peanut butter just suddenly make me really camp?
I know, you didn't sound like that at all. You can tell that this is the end of this is our last recording of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
I am disappointed it wasn't in Kermit's voice though.
I actually don't think I can do Kermit. It's too ingrained in me, the actual voice, that I'm not sure I can replicate it.
Yeah.
Miss Piggy is just sort of like, like,
see,
that's maybe
like
more
Yoda.
Yeah.
Did Frank Oz do Miss Piggy's voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did Yoda and
Kermit.
Miss Piggy, so
oh, really?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay.
Kermit.
I can't do voices. I'm always really jealous when people can do voices.
My boyfriend is like a parrot. He can hear something once and then he does it perfectly.
Really?
It makes me really annoyed. I hate
Such a good party trick though, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Does he mimic your voice?
Oh,
that would be.
I don't know. Never to my face.
That would be.
Yeah. Not like you, Georgia. You're lucky that we've got a screen separating us.
In a really offensive way as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh. This is our third screen date, so I feel like we're at that stage in our relationship that I think, Anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Who knew that you were such a big Dark Crystal fan?
Who isn't?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Dark Crystal?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Cynthia,
wow.
yeah, you'd
I
love
know.
it. You should
I
watch it on a
feel
Sunday afternoon.
I feel like I'm literally a year or two just too young. Do you know, Labyrinth was like so anything earlier than that was a little bit too early for me.
Yeah, it's so good. And actually, if you haven't seen it, I'm really tempted to like come over to your house just so I can watch it with you. Because
Amazing.
I love watching The Dark Crystal with people who've never seen it before. Because it's
Well,
always just they're
I
always so
know all
shocked.
about
It's like,
the nakedness from George's
oh yeah,
cat. The weird naked.
naked girlfriend.
Hey,
Yeah.
this isn't going
Yeah.
the way I thought it was going to go.
No, can I just say one more thing? Can I
Go
just say
on,
one
and
more
then we'll
thing
let Josh actually talk.
about the Dark Crystal? And we were talking about, one of your questions, Josh, was that do you think it would have had the same impact if it was filmed like with humans? And we had a bit of a chat about that. Do you remember? And I
Yeah.
always regret that I didn't say that they should have made one with the Muppet version. And Kermit would have played,
Oh.
you know, wouldn't you have loved to have seen that?
Oh God, yes. Like Muppet Christmas Carol, but in the Dark Crystal.
Yes.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah. Kermit
Okay.
They
would
could do it as like a little
absolutely
short
perfect.
film.
Yeah.
I'm going to tangent now and ask, have you seen the video that's doing the rounds on the internet of the Dirty Dancing finale dance, but to the Muppets theme tune?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yes,
You've
it's
got to search it
amazing.
out. So, you know the bit where Johnny's doing his little dance off the stage, but it's it's just
It is funny. It's really funny.
I'm going to watch that off right after this.
okay, Josh. What are you going to tell us about today?
Okay, I'm going to put my science hat on. I'm in no way a scientist, so I can't vouch for the accuracy of any of this information. It's purely based off my research online. So I'm going to talk to you about the human body
Ooh.
and how we're not quite as human as you might think we are.
Ooh.
And don't worry, I'm not going to suggest that we come from Mars or that we were grown in like futuristic farms like the Matrix. Like that's
Little
not
people.
yeah, we're talking about actual human beings in reality in the present day. So in a nutshell, there are as many human cells in the human body as there are other types of cells, such as parasites, viruses, microbes, and bacteria. So basically, each person on the planet is only really half human.
Ooh.
You look at it like that.
Yeah. Is this why I'm
Yeah.
always ill? I'm like half bacteria.
Yeah, yeah. Some people may be more bacteria than others, and we won't judge them.
You know what? It would make sense of a lot in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, a lot of the, things can go wrong, which we'll get into. But clearly, like if you've got a parasitic infection, that can have all kinds of side effects that might make you seem less human than the average person on the street.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a fact that I stumbled across. I think it was around, I've got it here 2019, but I think it was before then. I was researching bodies and bacteria because I was writing a book about men turning up dead with their insides completely messed up. And it was like this sort of fantastical idea that I had, obviously really disgusting and horrible. But I wanted to find some kind of scientific hook that I could hang it onto that would help readers sort of like cross that bridge of, oh, okay, we're with you. We kind of believe this might happen. And I was freelancing because I'm a freelance journalist, and I was freelancing at a health magazine at the time. And so there was a lot of interesting, weird topics to do with the human body that I was having to fact check. And this is one that really stuck with me, partly because it's just sort of like, what like the proportion stuff that I'll go into is really quite shocking. And it sort of like taps into not just biology and the human experience, but also kind of the way we see ourselves and the things that we don't see or that we don't necessarily want to see about being a human being on this planet.
Wow, that's really deep.
It is really deep. I thought that then.
The book isn't published. I finished it, and it's not found a home. Obviously, it's just far too,
The world's not ready yet.
you know, the world is not ready for this book. But we all, you know, we take
Kate Bush
so
in
much about our
30 years, they'll be ready.
Yeah.
yeah. Just when I'm on my deathbed, I'll
Yeah.
suddenly have a resurgence because some TV show talked about it. But we take so much about our biology for granted, and we only really notice that it's there when something goes wrong. So that can be from like getting cuts and scrapes where you sort of, like, I'm always covered in cat scratches because my cat just loves to attack me. And actually, it's sort of fascinating watching your body healing. You know, it's like, oh, you just sort of take it for granted. And obviously, there's more serious conditions like cardiac arrest or cancer, where something is going on internally that is really quite catastrophic without it necessarily showing externally. So that's sort of like why I found it quite an interesting bit of research. But going back to this like revelation that the human body is less human than we thought, it was actually long believed that the ratio of bacteria and other microbes in our body was actually 10 to 1. So it was thought that for every one human cell in our body, there were actually 10 foreign cells, which is sort of like, that's actually, that they've disproved it essentially now, because that's just insane. That is just so, you can't sort of, that doesn't make sense to me. But it was known as the 10:1 theory, which is a ratio of 10 to 1. And it was originally theorized in 1972 by the microbiologist Thomas Luckey, Luckey with an E in his name. He estimated that bacterial cells in the body outnumbered human cells by around 10 to 1, which is why we get that name. And that figure was used for decades in microbiome research. What is microbiome, I hear you cry? I'd never heard of it. They like to use it a lot in sort of like probiotic adverts, you know, yogurt adverts and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
That's the only reason I know what it is, because I've recently been on antibiotics and I've been taking probiotics because apparently they completely mess up your gut biome. So
yeah, well, because they probably strip away all the good,
it gets rid of everything. Yeah.
So you're being advised to put
have a yogurt.
Yeah, the yogurt. I don't need any excuse to have a yogurt. I love a yogurt.
What about peanut butter?
No, Trixie.
So microbiome is the term that we use to refer to the microorganisms that live in and on all vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals like us that have a spinal column. So that encompasses everything from mammals and fish to reptiles and birds. And the easiest way to picture the microbiome is to think about it. I kind of think about it as like a bit of a greenhouse where thousands of organisms all live. Trillions, actually. Like the human microbiome consists of trillions of microorganisms, including bacteria, fungi, lovely, parasites and viruses, and most of them exist harmoniously in a healthy person's body, mostly in the large and small intestines, although they can be found throughout the body. And the microbiome has also been called a supporting organ, because even though it isn't like a specific thing like a heart or a lung, it does so much in maintaining just the general upkeep and operations of the human body that it's considered really quite vital to our existence. Obviously, like parasites for me just sound super horror territory. And the thought of having parasites living in me is just a bit like, I don't like it and I don't want to believe it. But it's a fact, and it is kind of fascinating on a scientific level to think right now sitting here, we have a heck ton of stuff inside our bodies that isn't necessarily us.
That is crazy.
And apparently there are 3 main types of parasite in the human body. The protozoa are single-celled organisms that spread through contaminated food and water and insect bites. certain protozoa can cause things like malaria infection. So that's like a really bad one. Helminths, they just sound like fantasy creatures. Helminths are parasitic worms that root in the digestive tract,
Helmin.
and they can't. Helminths. Yeah, I know, it just sounds like some kind of horrific fantasy monster, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But actually they're quite benign because
Right.
they yeah, it's fine. They can't multiply, so then they don't reproduce. They don't, though. You often can just get rid of them naturally. It is a relief in so many ways. And if you're currently sitting there very worried that you have parasites, the symptoms, if you want to look out for them, if you want to do a bit of like a Google diagnosis, the symptoms can include skin bumps, rashes, weight loss, sleep problems, aches and pains, allergies and fever. So basically all of the symptoms of generally being ill in any way whatsoever. So I hope you feel, hope you feel very comforted by that.
Yeah. Oh.
So coming back to the number of human versus non-human cells, so we talked about the 10:1 ratio. That was actually blown up in 2016 by 3 scientists called Ron Milo, Ron Sender, and Shai Fuchs. And they say that the ratio is more like 1:1, which is what I said at the beginning. They said that Lucky's report was elegantly performed, yet was probably never meant to be widely quoted decades later.
Right.
So clearly they think that theirs is.
That's
and they looked
nice
at
this though, isn't it?
I know.
Very nicely worded, like, you know.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that
like
sort of thing happens
SARS.
quite a lot, doesn't it, in the science community? I think that they're just kind of always disproving each other in the most polite way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like a gentleman's slap with a glove. No, it's a very silk glove. It's sort of like, you know, well done, but haha, we have discovered more than you.
Yeah.
So these scientists looked at experimental data, including DNA analysis and something called magnetic resonance imaging, which I think probably means sort of like having a scan that gives a 3D model of organs.
Yeah, it's an
possibly.
MRI scan.
Right. Oh, right. Of course it is. Yeah. So they use that to calculate organ volume, which I guess was sort of like maybe how you do a process of elimination. Maybe you kind of show what is there to figure out what isn't there or what isn't being counted. And they concluded that a man between the age of 20 and 30 years old who weighs 70 kilos contains around 30 trillion human cells and 39 trillion bacteria. But that's just a rough guide because, as we said, they call it a defecation event. If you have a poo, that can change can temporarily change the ratio of how human you are. Which
That's amazing.
It makes you more human to have a poo, basically.
Oh
wow.
Yeah. Which I think we probably kind of relate to, because not to get too graphic, but you know when you've had like a really heavy night's drinking and you just feel absolutely awful. You always feel better when you've had a defecation event, I think.
Yeah, and that's a nice way of putting it as well. A nice way of putting it.
Just a defecation event.
Yeah.
It's just almost like, let's get out the streamers and the party hats, have a defecation event. Sometimes it does feel like that, doesn't it? Oh, such a relief.
Yeah.
So that's it. There you have it. We're not as human as you might have imagined. So when you say goodnight to your loved ones, you should probably say goodnight to their bacteria, their parasites, and their microbes too, because there's just as much of them as there is of your nearest and dearest.
That is so weird.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Do you know what was weird though? Is like the more I read about it, the less weird it felt.
Right.
You know, like just reading it out just now, I'm like, yeah, it totally makes sense to me now. But when I first came across it, it was sort of this real mind-blowing moment where I was like, what do you mean we're only half human?
Yeah, and like,
no, I think I'm still there.
And yeah.
Yeah. And you just start to think, when your stomach's gurgling, Like obviously that's
No,
like
they're all trying to
digesting
escape.
food and stuff, but they're all like, feed us, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's very sci-fi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the kind of
properly
comment that
sci-fi
makes me
horror.
wish I still worked with kids, because that's the kind of thing I would say to them and they'd all go home and go, you know, when my tummy rumbles, you know what it means?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
baby parasites.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom.
Screaming for peanut butter.
And they'd love the
Yeah.
poo thing, wouldn't they?
Oh
Oh,
God,
yeah.
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 You'd have to teach them how to say, "Mummy, I need a defecation event."
Yeah. Is it a number one or is it a defecation event?
I
Yeah.
have children. That will be the term that I
Yeah.
teach them.
Oh,
You know, parasites.
There you
Wow.
go.
Day.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
I
Well, shall we find out?
know that you've had like witches and you've had witchy things and you've
Oh,
had
we've had all
you know,
sorts.
spooky things. I thought
Demons.
I'd bring some science to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a bit of science. We've had some royal
Oh.
family stuff. We've had demons and
Ooh,
ghosts and murders. We've had all sorts today.
great.
I do feel like this
Ah.
has balanced it out though.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Oh, so
you
are you gonna share which fact is actually not true?
Well, it really pains me to admit that Georgia was right.
I
I
knew
love peanut butter.
it. You just couldn't
knowing so
conceal
well.
your
I
absolute.
know, just seeing the
Yeah.
words made my parasite so happy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did have a flying stick insect as a child.
Right. Ew.
I've never
What was it
Googled.
called?
They don't need to fly,
Oh.
do they?
I didn't give it a name, but
Oh.
I've never actually Googled if they do exist, you know, now. But it was really weird because like normally like stick insects, they look like sticks, they're green, they sort of like wobble a bit and they just have 6 or 7 legs, 8 legs or something. This one that I got sort of like turned white and went really papery, and then it had wings.
Oh,
They're
Josh, that
huge,
doesn't
enormous
sound
wings.
right.
No. I think that
As
was
a kid, I thought it was brilliant.
parasites.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a kid, I thought it was brilliant, but now just talking about it makes my hair go up all over my body in fear.
Well,
like,
when-
don't touch that thing.
When we air this episode, if it suddenly gets taken down and we all get like visits from men in black suits, we'll know what it was, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I was the original Dustin in Stranger Things.
Maybe.
We did, yeah.
I stumbled across sort of like some weird mutated stick insect.
But then you looked after it.
I did. I took it into school, and
Oh, I
it
bet
was
they
like
peanut butter.
delighted.
it was like show and tell. And
Oh,
I was really
God.
upset because this girl in school, I was like 7 or 8, she got really scared and she like flipped her long hair and the stick insect got all caught up in her hair.
Oh.
And I was like, don't hurt my stick insect.
Oh, and she was probably freaking out, wasn't she?
She was just absolutely losing her shit.
Oh
Her
dear.
hair, yeah. But
Gosh,
was
the
she
things that
found,
stick
like-
insect has seen.
Was she found a week later with no eyes?
Yeah.
As far as I know, she's no longer with us. No, she. As far as I know, she's fine.
Felt really bad there.
No, I really hope she's fine.
So the alien stick insect didn't do anything nasty to her.
No,
Don't-
didn't lay
as far
eggs
as I
in her
know.
hair or something.
Oh,
I got
God,
a
can you
spider in my
imagine?
hair before, after we've been talking. I went outside and a little spider crawled in my hair.
Well, I think that's good luck, isn't it?
Oh,
Well, I tried not to kill it.
not for the spider.
No, it was all right. I don't mind spiders, she says, and
Yeah,
get infested with them now.
just wait.
Yeah.
I had a
Get a
small-
cat. I haven't seen a spider in months because our cat just eats them all.
Oh, really? Our dog
Yeah.
watches them scuttle across the thing and then like, yeah, she's useless.
Oh,
She doesn't know what she's supposed to do with them.
She wants to play with it. She's like, oh, hi.
You just got one cat, Josh.
Just got the one.
Yeah.
Penny,
Oh.
absolute monster. Absolute monster. Covered in scratches.
Oh no. We were talking to
Yeah.
Annalise earlier and she said she's got two, but one's really stupid. And what did she say?
Oh.
Basically an ornament.
Yeah, it's ornamental. Yeah.
I wish Penny was an ornament. Penny basically thinks that I'm another cat, so she's constantly meowing at me,
Oh,
pawing at me, trying to get my attention.
oh, that's
My baby. My baby.
I'm surprised she's not in now, actually, having a little just walking in
Locked
front
out.
of the camera. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Locked out for my own safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have a cat. She was called Sybil.
Ah,
Yeah,
like
she
Sybil
lived here.
Shepherd.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that who it was named
And
after?
I think that's who it was named after.
Brilliant.
We had her since she was a kitten, and within about an hour of having her, we realised that she was an absolute terror.
Mhm.
And she was the worst cat in history. And she lived till she was like 24, but she was extremely aggressive. And we
Oh,
think she was
no.
probably a bit blind, because if you got near her, she would just lash out at you and clamp. You know, they do that thing where they clamp onto your foot and they're like trying to skin you
Yeah.
alive. That's what she used to do.
Oh,
Oh,
bless
lovely.
her.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But,
Poor little thing.
I know. Josh, where can we find you online if we want to find out more about you and your writing?
I'm on Twitter at Josh Winning, which is not losing. I am on Instagram at Joshua Winning. I like to shake it up there, just throw 3 more letters in there.
Yeah.
There actually is another Josh Winning on there, and it's very upsetting. He doesn't even use his account. I'm like, just give it back to me. And then just on joshuawinning.com if you want to check out that as well.
Yeah, and your book is The Shadow Glass.
Yes, The Shadow Glass. Yeah, I wanted to do some research, a story about what I researched for The Shadow Glass, but actually I didn't really do any research for The Shadow Glass because it was just all the films that I loved and still do love and know inside out. No research required.
It's
Very
kind of
easy
research.
to be influenced, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, all about,
It's
inspired by
excellent.
Labyrinth and Dark Crystal and all that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really
Yeah,
cool. I'm still
thank you.
reading it. I'm a very slow reader, but I'm really enjoying it. I love the bits in between each chapter. It's so clever.
Oh yeah, like the found documents.
Yeah, I love it.
Ooh,
That was
sounds
that
good.
was super fun to write. Yeah.
It's
kind of
really
want-
different.
Well, because the book's kind of about fandom, and I wanted to do found documents just for like a fun challenge and to sort of like develop the world, but I also the byproduct of that was it hopefully kind of makes the reader feel like a fan of a film that doesn't even exist. You know,
Yeah.
they feel like they know that
definitely.
film already. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's the kind of effect that you get.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That
It's,
sounds
yeah.
good. I will put an order link in the show notes if anybody wants to get Josh's book.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming on and weirding us out and joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been brilliant.
Yes, it's been lovely. Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody next time.
Yep.
Goodbye.
See you next week. Bye.
Oh.
Browser history deleted.